What's up, everyone? Woo! You can do better than that. What's up, everyone? Yeah! So show of hands, who has been to GifterXTalks before? Thank you for coming. Those who have not, you're in for a big treat. So GifterXTalks is the world's leading speaker community for entrepreneurs. It's been called the TED Talks for Entrepreneurs. My name is Christopher Kai. Though I've been speaking for over 20 years, coaching for 10 years, I started this 3 years ago because I really wanted to build a community of storytellers. Anyone a fan of Steve Jobs? Yep. Steve Jobs once said that the storyteller is the most powerful person in the world. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda for generations to come. So I hope that when you hear these speakers and panelists today, you see yourself in their stories, and more importantly, they inspire you to be the better version of yourself. Okay, so a few honorable mentions. Who, if you could stand up, went to the Wizard of Words training I did a few months ago, or a day ago, or 2 months ago? Okay, so stand up, please. So they are all the Wizard of Words masterclass, where they've taken a step forward to really learn how to speak and become a coach. Let's give them some love, please. We got my friend Alejandro back there, great singing voice. And okay, you can sit down. And now, who has spoken at GifterXTalks before? Who has been a GifterXTalks speaker? Please stand up, please. Got Max, got Stephen Thomas from VR. So thank you for supporting us. Thank you for sharing your stories. And I hope you get to know them as well. Thank you. All right, so we're gonna have a panel, and then 2 speakers, and then I'm gonna end off the night with my keynote called Your Miracle Year, How to Find the Courage to Live Your Wildest Dreams. How many of you want to live their wildest dreams? Not just dreams, but wild dreams. And I'll explain to you what that means, okay? But before I do this, I thought I would try something different. Who has never been paid to speak before? Who has never been paid to speak before? Raise your hand if you've never been paid to speak before, okay? So I did this at Wizard of Words, and it was like pretty cool because, let me see if you know anything about Chinese culture. So I was born and raised in New York City. Anyone recognize what this thing is? The ones that have been to my training, don't raise your hand. Okay? So when I was in my mid-20s, I gave a speech at a church in Stamford, Connecticut. And it was the first time in my life that someone paid me for my speech. Now, rewind my life. I was a 6-year-old kid in Woodside, Queens, where every single day my teacher would tell me, Christopher, shut up. Kept telling me over and over and over again to shut up. And then I had a reading disability, and I was really short. But when you fast forward my life to my 20s, I'm at a church. I wrote 7 books, but the first book I wrote is about college success. And I went there, I gave my speech, I was all excited, I sold a few books, I was all happy. And the pastor named Pastor Desmond Hamilton walked up to me with a big smile on his face, and he gave me a check for $50. Now mind you can applause for that if you want. Now mind you, I'm like, wait a minute. This man of authority, presence, and faith paid me money to speak, even though I was punished over and over and over again for talking too much in class. And so I thought, you know what? I believe everyone can get paid to speak. I believe everyone can be a paid speaker or coach. So what I'm going to do is this. We're going to ask for 3 volunteers. They're all going to come up here. You're going to give a 1-minute speech on the topic of your choice. And based on the audience applause, we'll decide who actually gets this red envelope, where if you've ever met a Chinese person, this is like amazing because it's pretty much spreading good health, good wealth, and prosperity. And so during Chinese New Year, when I grew up in New York City, my parents from Hong Kong, it was my favorite holiday because it was both Christmas, Thanksgiving, and New Year's all together. Imagine you're a 6-year-old kid. Now, mind you, I'm getting punished and teased and bullied. And then my mom's like, you can take off school, you can go to Chinatown, play with firecrackers with your friends, get money from your elders, and literally it was the best thing in the world. So this symbolizes not just a red envelope of prosperity and luckness, there's actually a Mr. Benjamin in here, which I call MB. So there's a $100 bill in here, because I want you to know that the moment that I got paid $50, I don't care if it was $5 or 5 cents, to know that you can actually get paid for your story changes everything. So I want you, 3 people, to come up here, a volunteer. Based on the audience applause, we're going to pick the best speaker, and whoever wins that actual prize is going to get this red envelope with a $100 bill, which is 2 times more than I've ever been paid. Now, mind you, I literally travel the world giving speeches for clients like eBay, Amazon, Google. And then about 10 years ago, I started getting hired by business owners to teach them how to get paid as a speaker. So I've helped my clients make millions of dollars learning how to speak on stage, but it always starts with that first time. I wish I actually saved that check because I ended up spending it. But I hope that this is beyond just a red envelope with Mr. Benjamin. It's about that moment in your life that change is possible and you can get paid to speak. Because we live in a world where they say, oh, money is not that important. Is money important?
Yes.
Is money important?
Yes.
You just get more options, more opportunities. So imagine when you get paid $100, you know that it's possible. And I really hope you hold this true to yourself and to your heart. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Okay, now the people that have been to my training before, you're disqualified, you can't do this, okay? But who has never been paid to speak before? Raise your hand. Who wants to volunteer? We're going to have 3 volunteers. They're going to come up here. You're going to give a 1-minute speech. And where's Christian? Christian's my Swiss brother over there. So Christian, I love this because the Swiss, who's been to Switzerland, by the way? The Swiss are very precise. So I always stop saying Christian is our Swiss timer because he actually is from Switzerland. But he also speaks Spanish and Thai and German, obviously, right? So Christian, you can just come up here because he will time us. When you have 5 seconds left, he's going to just hold up his hands. But when 1 minute is over, he's just going to say stop. Okay? So let's practice Christian's vocal cords. Okay? So first, when 5 seconds are left, you're going to just raise your hand 5 seconds. And then when it's 1 minute's over, what are you going to do? Stop. No. Come on. You're like, stop! No. Louder. Stop! Okay. Okay. But again, who wants to volunteer to come up on stage? And again, in life, if you want to live your miracle year, it's all about courage. The courage isn't about not having fear. It's the courage that, I'm going to step on stage and share my story. You can share, again, 1 minute story, anything you want. Make sure it's age appropriate. But if you're going to do it anywhere, do it in a space that we honor you, we support you, and we encourage you to share your story. Anyone want to volunteer? All right, we got Chanel. Come on here, Chanel. We got Denise. And one other volunteer. Colleen. Okay. So please come up here. Stand on stage. Just give Chanel some love, please. I guess you want to go first? Okay. So again, remember, each person is going to speak for 1 minute on whatever they want. Chris, when it's 1 minute over, you have your timer? And when 1 minute's over, what are you going to say, Chris? Stop. No. You got to yell it. Stop! Stop! Okay. One more time, Chris. Stop! Okay. I like how he just puts his hand there, okay? Okay. But again, as the audience, I'm going to say, okay, who is the best speaker? Who's the best speaker? Who's the best speaker? You have to help me out. You can't all say, okay, they're all good. No. There are winners and losers. Yeah. So make sure you do my job better by letting us know who's the best speaker. Now again, for those who are volunteering, let's first give them applause for having the courage to come up here. Appreciate that. And after this contest is over, someone's going to be the new owner of MB, Mr. Benjamin, and it's actually a $100 bill. And the last thing I'll share with this is because when you do grow up in a Chinese household, they always get crisp, fresh bills from the bank. So when I was like a 6-year-old kid, I used to open up my thing, like looking at the bill, but it's an actual $100 bill, which I hope you know that you can pursue your dreams, whatever it is, by sharing your story. Because this literally, GifterXTalks, I believe that every single one of you here has a story, and that's a gift. But imagine everywhere you want, and instead of Oprah Winfrey saying, you get a new car, you get a new car, you get a new car, imagine you give stories away. Because those are the most powerful gifts in the world. We live in a world that everyone's on their phone, and you wonder why you're disconnected. You wonder why you're alone. You wonder why you're like wondering, why am I feeling so off? Because if you know that we're all human beings, which we are, hopefully, at least for now, you know that it's all about the stories about how we connect with each other. And literally the word history means we all have stories together. Oh, look at this guy, like, okay. All right, does that make sense, everyone? You're all gonna help me through audience applause to decide which one is the best speaker, and whoever wins is gonna get MB, Mr. Ben, baby! All right. Are we ready, Chanel? I guess we'll have, I mean, look, Christian, he's taking your job. What's going on here? Okay, but you ready? Okay, so I'm going to hand the mic to you. You have 1 minute. Let us begin.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Chanel. And when I was 16, I ran away from home. My parents were very abusive, physically, mentally. So I ran away from home. I did a lot of traveling, a little couch surfing. And I ended up in Hawaii, where if I didn't get off that island, I probably would have died. So I got the opportunity to get off the island, made it back to the west coast of Portland, Oregon, and Starbucks actually hired me, helped me get all my IDs so I could work, and then I got my life together, and now I own 4 different companies.
Cool. You don't have to do the whole minute, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, look at that. It's actually harder to give a 1-minute speech than it is to give a 1-hour speech. It's much harder to give a 1-minute speech. Thank you, Chanel. Okay, next up. Are you recording this? Or just make sure you have that stop, okay? Ready? Christian, say stop. Stop. Would you love this guy? Okay. Is it, pronounce your name again? Hannelise. Latina. Okay. So next up we have Hannelise. Yes. Let's give Hannelise some love.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Hannelise. I've been living in Miami for 20 years, but I'm from Puerto Rico. I am actually a registered nurse, and during about, a year ago, I was going through a hard situation of dealing with a little bit of depression, all that anxiety. Then I started to channel my mental health to start creating something, which is soy candles. I decided to do that because I've learned that throughout life, like he says, stories, we go through chapters. So I decided that my candles are different chapters that we go through life. And let's say, for example, we go to a strawberry, so I want people to experience what a strawberry could remind them of something, a sweet cake, a lollipop, or in the childhood, maybe a wedding that they went to and they had strawberry cake. So this candle.
Stop.
Oh.
Christian, come on.
Oh, Christian.
Okay, stop. Thank you. All right. Yeah. Christian, come on now. I trust you. I believe in you. When that 1 minute comes up, you're like, stop. Okay. Colleen, you ready? All right. Let's give Colleen some love.
Okay, 3 years ago, I was sitting in bed in my apartment in Chicago, looking around thinking, what the heck is my life right now? It was this old building in Chicago with radiator heating. I had just found out my boyfriend of 5 years was cheating on me the entire time and lying. And I had just had a falling out with my 2 best friends that I knew since I was 5 years old, because they were not there for me during that time, that I find out that my boyfriend had been cheating. I knew I had to make a change. So I told myself there's only one person that's going to save you, and that's yourself. I got a new job. And with that job, I supported an office in Chicago, Orlando, and Fort Lauderdale. I went to Fort Lauderdale to see if I wanted to start an entire new life. I walked up A1A. I saw this sign that says, "This is your sign. Just move here." I took a picture of it. I moved to Fort Lauderdale, and the realtor that created that sign is sitting right there. So full circle moments.
All right, good job. Okay, can we have all the students come back on stage, please? No, Colleen, stay on stage, Colleen, stay on stage. Can you all come back on stage? Okay, again, based on audience applause, all 3 of them come back up, please. Based on audience applause, who do you feel was the best speaker? Again, please make me do my job easier. Don't all go like, oh yeah, they're all good. No, there's winners and losers, okay? So, who was the best speaker? Do we have Colleen? Chanel? Hannelise? One last time. Colleen? Chanel? Hannelise? All right. Colleen, congratulations. All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. Okay, awesome. Again, I hope you remember this moment. That dreams are possible, speaking is possible, because like I said, for a kid growing up in New York City, Queens, with no money, no access, no connections, my mom and dad were immigrants from Hong Kong, I never could imagine that literally you can get paid to talk, and like really well. Literally, the speaking business is a $2+ trillion business. I'll say that again. The speaking coaching business is $2+ trillion. You have corporates, e-learning, and self-help. So I hope you know that whatever you're doing in life, if you don't like your job, if you don't like your boss, if you don't like your coworkers, quit. And I'll talk about that a little more later on in the miracle year. Okay, so we're gonna have our two panelists come up here. If Marla and Amelia can come up, please. Give them some love, please, come on now. We're gonna share and support stories of each other. So this is our success panel. Marla worked for an organization that had close to $1 billion revenue. They have 19,000 employees, and they help people in 180 countries. At one point, she had a budget of $15 million, and she's a transformational leadership coach. Let's give Marla some love, please. Amelia, I met actually literally at church a few months ago, and she had this radiant energy, and she was just so vulnerable about herself and her struggles. So Amelia was a recovering alcoholic, and she decided once she became sober, she wants to help and coach women and their families on becoming more aware, but definitely through the help of God. So she has a spiritual guide for people that are recovering from alcoholism, and she also wants to help their loved ones. So that being said, the theme of this, by the way, first of all, how many of you believe in miracles? You gotta believe in miracles. There's so much more to life than just our bodies. There really is various miracles. So my first question to both of you is, when was your miracle year? We'll start with Marla.
My miracle year was this year, and I want to tell you why. He told you a little bit about what I do. I had a dream job. I loved what I did. Some of it was building systems and financial systems and technical systems, but I also got to sit with people in their pain. I got a call one day, and Ilgar was on the other line. He said, with almost no voice, that she's gone, she's dead. And that was the two-year-old daughter. I said, I'll be right there. So I hopped on the plane, went to Germany, and I spent the next week finding a plot for their daughter, picking out the headstone, and just being able to cry and to laugh and to be in pain. So not only did I do systems, but I also cared for people. But in 2018, I started feeling that itch of, it's time to get out of my comfort zone and do something else. And I hesitated and resisted, till finally I said, I have to do it. So I left my job of 36 years. That includes, a paycheck, a corporate credit card, travel, and I started my own coaching business to do transformational coaching.
It's over 500 hours. It's coached over 500 hours. And what about you, Amelia? When was your miracle year?
Well, first of all, thank you, Christopher, for having me here. I met you, like you said, at church a couple months ago.
Praise the Lord!
And I was just so inspired listening to you, and I decided to sign up for your VIP day, where I got to watch you coach these lovely women, and I got to see them from the beginning process to being up here on stage, and it was transformational for me. So here I am. So my miracle year, when I was 39 years old, I lost my power of choice. I lost my power of choice over alcohol. I have 3 amazing children. My children are my heart. They're my loves. And they weren't enough for me to not pick up that alcohol. When my daughter, my oldest child, was 26 years old, I was drunk, and I went to get in the car to go get more alcohol. She stood in front of my car to prevent me from drinking and driving. I took my foot off the brake, and I rolled into her. Now she's okay, thanks be to God, but emotionally she was not okay. When I got home, she said, I am done with you. This precious daughter, my firstborn, who she was the only one, every time I came out of a binge, forgave me. This time she was done. That was the year that I got sober for the last time. That was my last drink. And today, my mission in life is to help people find recovery, and I also have a real passion for helping their loved ones understand the disease, bring the family back together, and so they can have peace and harmony and health with their higher power.
And this is amazing. You can clap for that. It's amazing though, because I used to mentor homeless kids at a shelter in LA. And one of my friends named Craig, who was also an alcoholic recovering, he said, you know, Christopher, you might want to go to an AA meeting. I know you don't have issues with alcohol, but if you're working with people that have alcoholism and those types of addictions, you might want to go. How many of you have actually been to an AA meeting before? It really is one of the most inspiring things to see, because they're essentially there to encourage you, to support you, and they have birthday cakes for every year that they're sober. So for myself, it's always about how can I better understand people, and what I'm always amazed about, we had a conversation earlier today with Marla. She's traveled to like 50 countries, and in Amelia's case, you've probably been through 50 different scenarios when you're drinking, and for all of you, we've all been through some pain, yes? What I really admire about these two women is that they took their pain, they own their pain, but they want to give back and help. So like for you, why do you choose that the next chapter, next year, for you, you want to start serving and helping people with your gifts and service?
My next step, best step, that is what I want to see for myself. And I know that every one of us has something that we can do that's different, that's more. There's something, if we don't grow, we're dead, right? So I believe in transformation. I focus on leaders because transforming a leader to be their best not only helps them, but it helps their team, it helps the bottom line. And it's about transforming powerless into power. It's transforming nothingness into this creative thing. And so I really believe in this next step, that the excitement of sitting with people, owning their dream and finding the steps to get to the dream. Wow, how can you miss not doing that?
Yeah. And then, for you, because like, I never really realized that alcoholism is actually a disease. Like I was very presumptive, but something of ignorance.
But what do you want to tell people that might not have experienced it themselves, but it really is a disease where it's not just as simple as, oh, I can stop drinking? What type of shift did you have, perhaps, that allowed you to say, you know what, I need something more. I need a higher power, if you will, you know?
Yeah, and that's why I want to speak, because I want to bring more awareness. It is a disease. I want to take away the shame. Even after I went to AA and I did the steps and the obsession to drink was lifted, I still hated myself and I had to go deeper. And my program is the 12 steps and beyond. I had to learn to love my higher power. Everyone is different. People have different higher powers. Sometimes my clients, they can't say God because they've had past experiences that were not good. So we find that higher power and clear away the path so that you have a relationship. And in doing that, you learn to love yourself. And with that just naturally comes other people. You learn to love other people and really find out what your purpose in life is, and to watch that in clients, to watch them grow, to watch the families come closer. It's a miracle. I witnessed a miracle today. Can I?
Yeah, honestly, sure, please.
So I have a client who I worked with. She currently is not my client because she no longer needs me, but she was pregnant and she wanted me at the birth. So I got to witness a birth. It's a girl.
And what is the girl's name?
Her name is Amelia.
And what is your name?
I don't know. After me, but that's her name. And my name's Amelia, like Amelia Earhart.
So I have a question for all of you. How many of you actually are a coach? So I was a speaker for more than 10 years. And then 10 years ago, I wrote this book about networking with billionaires and executives. It's about connecting with people. And people get asked me, Christopher, have you considered coaching before? I'm like, no, why would I? Because I like speaking, you have a really great life. But when you start realizing speaking is cool, but when you actually work with entrepreneurs, solo entrepreneurs, mompreneurs, you can literally affect not just their lives, but multi-generational. So whoever is not a coach, I really encourage you to consider being a coach, because you can literally be in your hotel room and give 3 speeches, 2 virtual, 1 in person, and then help people literally around the world. I'm not a tech guy by any means. I can literally turn on and off the computer, and sometimes even that I can't do. I was literally on a podcast one time, and the computer went out. I was like, what's going on? And it's because I had the laptop plugged in. I share this story because I have helped people become speakers online. And I was flying to Barcelona one time. I got off the plane. I was completely jet lagged. This woman approaches me and says, Christopher Kai? I'm like, oh, hi. It's like, it's Elaine. I'm in your speaker training program. I'm like, oh, hi, Elaine. What I'm saying to all of you is when you're a coach, you can impact people on your own time, in your own way, in whatever city, country, region you want to be. That being said, what are some examples of clients you've worked with that you feel, because I really want the audience to understand, no matter what field you're in, no matter what business you're in, if you decide to be a coach, you can arguably make more money in less time, have more fun, and more impact if you're a coach. And you might not consider this, but I'm telling you, 10 years ago, I wrote this book on networking with billionaires. People would ask me, Christopher, I loved your book, I loved your speech, where's your program? I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, no, like, how do I dive deeper into it? And is anyone familiar with Tony Robbins? Do you know how much he makes from one event? $30 million. That's what I call hedge fund money. The whole self-help personal development space alone is a $67 billion space. So if you want to have a miracle life, consider going to that world. But I want to ask you both, share with us a client story, a person you feel you really impacted and changed their lives, especially with both of you have your unique stories, but Marla just says, I've literally been in places that are like war-torn, and yet you have the ability to be poised, but to help clients. So tell us one of your client stories.
3 come to mind, but we don't have that much time. So I want to tell you, oh, there's so many. Okay, I'm going to tell you about Kelly. Kelly is actually local in Orlando, and so she's one of the few that actually comes to my house to get coached. And she is the most dynamic person, connects, believes in redemptive entrepreneurship. That's a whole thing to unpack. And she doesn't have a voice. She's so quiet, she would be so in reserved that her power to be able to impact in redemptive in that space was completely silenced because of the thoughts that go through her mind. And you even mentioned today that we have lots of thoughts in our head. 90% every day are repeated thoughts. So if we have thoughts that are negative beliefs, we stay in that negative belief. So Kelly, I've been working with her. She takes this notebook and she writes in it. And every time we talk, she flips back, and she's a learner. And today, yesterday when we met, she's pursuing a completely new career in the redemptive entrepreneurship because she knows she can. And the transformation in her, and if you think about someone who's a good networker and is a really good communicator and just didn't have that power in herself and see that unlocked, y'all, it's going to change Orlando. It's going to change really every place she touches.
That's beautiful, Marla. Well, I want to talk about this client that I got to be at her birth today. When I first started working with her, and this was over 6 months ago, she was angry. She was self-centered. She was kicking her husband out like every month. Like her parents didn't know what to do with her. Like her sister was done. Like she she was a mess. Let's just, insanity. So when I started working with her, and then I started working with the family, and we would get together and we would talk about things, and I was able to also explain to the family, like, this is where she is in her disease. These are the steps that we're working on. This is what we're doing now. And telling them stories about myself. Like, I was there, I was her. That's why I understand her. And my family was you. And that's how I know that healing is possible. And we worked together for 6 months. And when I walked in that birthing room today with her family, and the love that was in that room, and to witness that miracle was just, I can't even describe. It was amazing.
So that's the thing, it's like, when you actually help people, you're literally giving them a new birth. And so for me, you mentioned about power. The last question I want to ask, so that you can share with the audience, is like, when I was a kid, I felt powerless. Has anyone ever felt powerless or voiceless, or people just put you aside? And so it's one of the most loneliest times and feelings to have, to be powerless. So for you, what can you share with the audience that when you had a powerless moment, when you're literally eating dirt, when you wanted to cry or even commit suicide perhaps, like, what's something you can share with the audience that will be all your future clients? What do you feel did you do during those moments of feeling complete powerlessness?
It's a horrible feeling, isn't it? And we've all felt it. It's a horrible feeling. I'm small as well, if you haven't noticed. There was a time when I was in Turkey, I lived in Istanbul, and this taxi driver wanted to charge an exorbitant amount. And so, of course, I said no. We got in a physical fight together. And it disrupted me. And I was also hosting 2 people from Tajikistan, big guy from the KGB and this other guy, and they just stood there and watched. They didn't help. And for me as a woman, trying to protect myself and seeing other men look on was a very powerless feeling. But what I did, first of all, I looked at the taxi driver and said, "Are you kidding? He used to be with the KGB," which is true. He was KGB. But what I did at that moment was I stepped back. And I cared for myself. But the interesting thing is I did an audit in that country with that same KGB leader. And he was a bully. He was a really mean person to his staff. But he didn't touch me because he saw me stand up to the taxi driver. So even in that moment of fear, it really actually helped me give credibility that you can't mess with me. I was ready.
What about me, Amelia? When did you feel completely powerless? And how did you regain that power in yourself so now you can empower other people?
Well, I was powerless for 9 years because that's how long it took me. Powerlessness for me looked like I don't want to take that drink, but I did it anyway. And the last bender that I went on, when I came out of that and my daughter was done with me, and I was actually working with a woman that was trying to help me get sober. She was done with me and I was done with me. I told my daughter, who was 26, you and your brothers would be better off if I was dead. And I meant that. I really wanted to die, and I was out of moves. But I understand now that I didn't understand then, that was my surrender. That's when I just was like, okay, whatever it takes is what I'm gonna do. So that was why that's my miracle year.
Thank you so much. Let's give Marla and Amelia some love, please. Thank you so much. Man, I hope you get to know both of them, because the reason why we have more of these shorter contexts, because they're giving you a little preview of their lives, but I really encourage you all to get to know them a little more, because I got to speak to them at length, and it just always inspires me to meet people that have gone through hardship and have come through on the other end and are willing to, by the way, inspire other people. People can go through pain, but do they use that pain to inspire other people? So I really encourage all of you to know that your story does matter, and you really have a gift. So that being said, our next speaker is Ashley Alderette. And Ashley is a trained psychologist who, I don't know about you, but that's a lot of schooling. You have like 4 years of college, and then I believe it's another 3 to 5 years. But for someone to be dedicated for schooling that long, I really hated school. But for someone to be that dedicated, and now she is taking her psychology background and helping her clients more from a mindset and expertise standpoint with her knowledge of as a psychologist. I really commend, applaud, and honor her for really spending the time with us today to share with her wisdom that she learned through psychology and how she goes about helping her clients now. Let's please welcome Dr. Ashley Alderette.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you all for being here this evening. As he was saying, I am Dr. Ashley Alderette, and I help alpha male executives maintain and maximize their, what I like to call, their Spartan competitive edge. So what if I was to tell you all that I actually had the pleasure of helping a Spartan client save 120K. So when he came to see me, he had everything from the outside. His life looked perfect. He had a beautiful wife. He had 3 beautiful kids, and he was working his way up to be partner at his law firm. But he had one problem, which was well, let me back up a second. So if you guys know, if you're a leader at the workplace or even in your home, it can be a lot of pressure, and there's a lot of expectations placed on you. And so he didn't have a place to work through that. And so he was, again, he was coping by, how do I say this? He was spending like $10,000 a month on cocaine and hookers. And he was a little worried that, he was going to destroy his life. So he came to me and he engaged in my Spartan Mastery program. And through that transformation, he was able to reconnect with his wife and his kids. He made partner at his law firm. And best of all, I saved him another 120K. So, yeah. Thank you. So my message for you all, well, the men specifically, if you are feeling lonely or stuck or misunderstood, please come up and talk to me. I'd love to talk about how I can help you. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashley. Next up, we have Pierre Smith. We call him the Faithless Pierre. Pierre actually has 10 businesses. He is a master and an expert at working with government contracts. He's worldly, he has this amazing presence, and ultimately he wants to help business owners, specifically women, how to make their first $1 million. So for me, what I most love, someone clap? You can clap. Who wants to make the first $1 million? Or the next $1 million? But what I most love about Pierre and all our speakers and panelists is they have a good heart. I meet a lot of business owners, and they don't always have good hearts, but I respect the fact that this man has 10 businesses, cracked the code on how to work with government contracts, which are very lucrative, And now he chooses to help other people build their businesses while still continuing to build his own. Let's give Pierre Smith some love, please.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for all coming here. Thank you, Christopher, for giving a stage for all of us to share. So, where do I start? My name is Paperless Pierre. I help government agencies and Fortune 500 companies go paperless. If they can't find their paperwork in 2 seconds, they usually call me to come in and help. I grew up in New York. So, how many New Yorkers in the house? There you go. A Mets fan? Oh, Yankees. Oh, sorry.
Yankees.
Uh-oh. So I grew up in New York. I went to PS 121. So elementary school was in Ozone Park. And I graduated 6th grade. And I walked in at home and mom and dad was there and said, we're moving to Haiti. I was like, wait, what? Did I hear that properly? So me and my brothers were shuttled to Haiti. And I got to tell you, the first year was awesome. Because the dictator had just fell. So I learned to drive a motorcycle. I almost died because I ran almost into a truck, but that's okay. Teenagers do crazy things. I was 13. I learned to drive my car at the time, so that was pretty cool. So it was a fun year. 6 months later, I started hearing gunshots outside, so I sneaked up to the roof. Me and my brother, being American nosy people, were like, hey, let's see what's going on. And I see this Toyota pickup pull up in front of a line of people that's about to vote in full military gear and start shooting everyone. And I remember this one lady that fell on her face and then moved. And yeah, as a 13-year-old, I wasn't expecting that. So yes, my mom and dad decided maybe this isn't the best place to go to school. My mom moved to Florida, that's why I'm here. And my dad decided to just leave and went back to New York. So here I am now, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be one of the caretakers, I'm gonna help mom out, and I decide I'm gonna stay in the computer lab all day long because I just love the computers, and that was my way of coping in Haiti since I didn't have my friends. And I also worked late shifts, so I would walk to Arby's every single night after the computer lab. And one day I asked my mom, Mom, can you give me $1,000? Because I have $1,000 right now. And I need $2,000 to buy this Toyota Corolla so I could drive to work in the middle of the night. And she's like, $2,000, Pierre, we can't have $2,000. If we have $2,000, we will never have any help from the government again. They will cut the food stamp and any other help. And all I could sit there and think, if you know my mom, when she was 16, she took care of her mom, who was dying of breast cancer with a sewing machine in Haiti, and raised her little brother. So she was a superwoman to me, and here she is now with this limiting belief. I can't make more than $2,000. So I promised myself I would never live that way, and my kids will never live that way. By the way, my son is here today, my youngest. So then fast forward, I'm in college, I get married to my ex-wife, and she had some issues being a programmer. I'm like, well, I could debug the issues with her, because that's what programmers do. We don't throw away the code, we debug it, right? Okay, so I'm here working with her. I notice it's not getting better, so we have 2 kids, and I'm like, okay, maybe this isn't gonna get better. She kept saying, you hate your kids. Why did you start a business? Like, you must not love your kids. So I was already a full entrepreneur. I would travel all over the US. My favorite spot was Marriott and Starbucks. And I remember checking into a Marriott hotel in Atlanta on Peachtree, because I was there every week working with Georgia Power, consultant. And I got in early to the hotel room, and I contemplated, what's the best way to just kill myself? Since I really don't have a home to go to. My wife at the time just thought I was the worst thing on earth. So maybe I could help my kids and just eliminate myself. And being the nerd that I am, I guess I was overthinking it. I thought about, okay, maybe I could go get a blade from downstairs and get a razor blade from the shaving kit, or a steak knife from the kitchen downstairs. or grabbed a bag and just covered my head. I didn't know better. This wasn't like it was planned. And I fell asleep. In the middle of the night, I had a dream. I literally dreamt my son, who was 8 at the time, and my eldest daughter, who was 10 at the time, graduating college. So if anyone here is Catholic, you know that Catholics believe even if we die, we stay in spirit. So I envision in this dream that Christopher is graduating college, and I am there in spirit. And I am looking over his shoulder. He's standing with my mom and his sister. And I said, there you go, Christopher. I told you I would be with you throughout the whole process. You graduated. I'm so proud of you. And he ignored me. And my mom, being the normal Haitian grandmother, is like, uh-oh, Christopher, talk to your dad. He's talking to you. He's in spirit here. And Christopher literally turned around and said, Dad, you helped me throughout this whole process. You told me to keep going forward. But you said never give up. What about you? I woke up, it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and I promised myself, never again will I let someone dim my light. And not only that, I'm gonna make it a point to help others, not just succeed, but grow to what I call fun and magic. Fun and magic is creating a space where your kids can travel around the world. Laura, by the way, now lives in Ukraine. Christopher lives in Colorado. They travel all the time. My son Ethan here is actually headed to Colorado today. This weekend. My daughter Angelica, I have 4 kids. She's actually going to see her sister again in Europe. That's fun and magic. When you can fly around the world with your kids and just have fun whenever they want to. So I'm here to say that as a speaker and also a coach, I want to see individuals like my mom. So women that want to leave corporate space, that want to start their own company, scale to make $1 million in 12 months. Because I've seen other companies do it, but I'm here and I want to make it my mission to make sure my legacy is from my mom's legacy of helping others remove limiting beliefs and make $1 million and have fun and magic.
Thank you, Pierre Smith. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's first, again, give some love for Marla, Amelia, Ashley, and Pierre. Great job. I'm going to end the night by giving you a speech called The Miracle Year, Your Miracle Year. How many, again, believe in miracles?
Yeah.
You gotta believe in miracles. There's so many things in life that are not explained. You can't see them, you can't hear them, but you can feel them with your heart, with your spirit, with your soul. So this speech is called Your Miracle Year. Today is December 17th. 6 years ago, my mother had passed away on December 5th, so I was there at her wake, literally 6 years today. And so when you think about life, you have to know that there are miracle years, and if you want to live your miracle life, you have to find the courage to live your wildest dreams. Not just dreams, what? Wildest. Let me explain to you what I mean by wild, okay? Anyone live in the Edgewater area? So I live in the Edgewater area. On the balcony, April 5th, which is also Kelly's birthday. What's up, Kelly? On the balcony, April 5th, Saturday. At that point, I had a speech in China that was canceled. I was so excited because I was going to go to China and speak in Chinese. So again, born and raised in New York City, grew up Catholic. My Chinese, specifically Cantonese, is decent, but I was going to speak in Mandarin in China, the motherland. And I was so excited, but it got canceled. Then I had a client in Thailand who's actually a prince. His father's the king of Thailand. Like, father's worth like $40 billion. But I thought to myself, as I was sitting on the chair on a balcony overlooking Biscayne Bay, I said, yeah, I'm not going to go. And then I get a call from my friend named Dylan. He was like a younger brother to me. His mother actually spoke here last month. And he reminded me what I said to him. He said, Christopher, you always say that all of life is a series of memories, so what you remember becomes life. So I said, you know what, fuck this. My New York site comes out, I book my flight to go to Thailand. The next day, I fly to Lisbon first to meet some friends, then Abu Dhabi, then Thailand. Once I'm in Thailand, I'm hanging out with my clients at Prince. Has anyone been in Thailand, by the way? It's a beautiful country, beautiful food. And so I'm hanging out with him. I'm hanging out with another friend named Oak, who's a Thai American, moved out there. And during Sukran, which is the Thai New Year in April, it's the most fun thing because you literally have water guns and everyone's squirting each other with water guns. You have like small pistols. I chose like the big super soaker. I have my goggles on, but just imagine everywhere you go, you get to just squirt people with water. It's just fun, like just this vibrant spirit. And then on April 14th at 12 o'clock, it was actually my mother's birthday, and I was on stage because my friend actually is friends with Steve Aoki. Anyone like EDM? And so they were like, Steve Aoki, Dimitri Vegas in Bangkok, Thailand for Sukran New Year's, and I'm on stage with 55,000 people. I thought to myself, going back to miracles, my mother's birthday, I'm in Asia, and I'm on stage in front of 55,000 people, and I used to be a singer-songwriter. So I'm like, this is the coolest gift my mom gave me. So after Thailand, I go to Hong Kong, which my parents are from, and I wanted to honor my mother. I wanted to honor her upbringing, I wanted to honor her culture, and I wanted to go to the church because she was devout Catholic, but I didn't have a chance. But as I was going back to the airport, I literally passed by my mother's church, and I'm like, holy crap, going back to miracles. So I literally told the cab, please stop by the side. So I got a chance to say hi to my mom in church because she was the most devout Catholic in the world. I get on the plane, I spend some time in New York, then I end the month in April at a mansion in the Hollywood Hills giving a speech about how to live your dreams. That's what I perceive as a wild life. I meet way too many people that plan everything. They wonder why they're bored, they wonder why they're not having fun, but a wild life isn't just about financial freedom. That financial freedom goal is an always moving goal. Would you really want to have financial freedom or time freedom? Time freedom is literally you own your own time, so if you're on your couch, on your balcony, on your bed, on your anywhere, you know that you can literally book a ticket in a day and go wherever you want. So it's not just about money, it's about time. So I encourage you all to think about what is your wildest life? It could be traveling like I am, or it could be just having the courage to write your first book or start a nonprofit. The point is, stop planning things out, because can you imagine how ridiculous it is? If we rewinded our life a few thousand years and someone asked me, Christopher, what are you gonna do tomorrow? What are you planning? I'm like, you're literally just thinking about where to eat and where to clothe yourself and where to have shelter. So I really encourage you, especially for those who are over planners, if you're over planners, that means you're always thinking about control. You can't really control life. But I encourage you, if you want to live your wildest life, you have to have more spontaneity. You have to have more open space, because only when you have an open canvas can you paint your Picasso in life. Does that make sense about wild dreams? You decide where your wild life is, okay? Now let's talk about miracles. Let me read these stories. There's a little boy named Albert. He grows up in Germany. At a young age, he's considered stupid, literally. He doesn't talk till the age of 4. Then he gets to high school, he drops out. And then he applies to get into a college and he fails. And when he's in his 20s, he's working as a third-class patent clerk, where he's literally checking patent clerks for his job. Can't even find an academic assistant job. But in 1905, this boy Albert writes 4 papers, which becomes his miracle year. And when you fast forward his life, Albert is named the man of the century, and his name is Albert Einstein. This man who we know as a genius literally grew up and was told he was stupid, dropped out of high school, couldn't get into college, but in his 20s, he's studying patents. But I'm sharing this with you because his life changed when he had a mentor. When he was 10 years old, he had a guy named Max Talmy who was a medical school student, and he gave Albert Einstein, at 10 years old, his first science books, taught him math, and revealed them to philosophy. If you always stay in your lane, if you always only know the same friends, if you always are afraid, you'll never live your miracles. Here's Albert Einstein, who you may or may not know when you talk about the miracle year. Based on those 4 papers, when you look at the GPS that we use, when you take pictures on your phone, when you look at nuclear power, this man created the foundation for all of our miracles every single day, and he was a genius. The second story is my own. Again, born and raised in New York City, parents immigrants, I never could imagine being teased and bullied and punished, and the worst thing for me was I was really short. Now I know, Marla, you're short as well, but as a woman, you can always wear heels. If you're a guy, you're short, you're like, hey, you want to go on a date with me? It's not a pretty thing. And I went to an all-boys school. So if you're an all-boy school, and I'm 4'10", and everyone's taller than me, and they're always like pushing you down, I could have never imagined that a kid growing up in Woodside, Queens, would literally have a miracle year where I was at my job at American Express. I was 26, the same age that Albert Einstein was when he had his miracle year, where I was just tired of life. Do you ever have those moments, those weeks, those months, or even years, where you're like, I fucking hate life? And when you're in New York, if you want to see miserable people, go on a subway at 9 o'clock at Grand Central Station and look at the faces of people, okay, on a subway car in New York City. I don't care how much money they have, okay? They probably started in the 20s all happy and hopeful. And then every single day, every single week, every single month, every single year, they go into a job they hate, that happy person becomes more and more depressed. And so my miracle year, when I was like, fuck this shit, I don't want to be at a job I don't like. I don't want to be in a basement apartment that I used to live in when I was 22. I don't want to keep having my parents tell me, do this, do this, do this, because it's hard enough to be Catholic. Who's Catholic in the room, by the way? It's very strict. Everything's a sin. And then if you're Chinese, it's like everything's not just a sin, everything's like wrong. You know, it's like, oh, you got a 95, where's the 5 points? You know, but for me, to have all this struggle, all this pain, all this hardship, and then I had this class I went to, this Dale Carnegie class, and I told him, I've been writing a book since college, and I want to move out to California. And he's like, okay, move out to California. I'm like, but I'm scared. What if it doesn't work out? What if I can't find a job? What if I don't like it? What should I do? Move out to California. Your solutions, your miracles are in your heart and in your mind. Just fucking do it. Because if you keep waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, you'll be waiting your whole life, and you'll only be dreaming about your life and not living your dreams. If you've been to a third world country, you know real hardship. I have a friend named Antonio. He grew up in poverty in the South. But then I have a friend named Benjamin who grew up poverty, third world Philippines, where they didn't even have water or electricity until he was 15. He was abused and bullied. He never met his father. His mother left him, went to the US. His breakfast in the morning was eating a spoon of rice. And on a good day, he'll have a spoon of rice with some sugar on it. What I'm saying is, if you want to do something now, do it now, because you don't have tomorrow. So for me to be literally teased, bullied, and punished, to have that miracle year where I shifted and moved up to California, wrote a book, became a singer songwriter, and then just traveled the world, it is a miracle. Because remember, I was punished for talking too much in class. The final story I'm going to share is your own story. Do you believe in miracles, but do you believe that you are a miracle? Raise your hand. If you know basic biology, 300 million sperm, 1 egg. I'll say that again. 300 million sperm, 1 egg, we all exist. Even if you don't know why you exist, even if you think you doubt or don't have purpose, the fact that we're all here, we're born here, 300 million sperm, 1 egg, we're all here, you literally are a miracle. And realize this, there are 60 million people who die every year. That's 200,000 people a day. In this 3-hour time frame, there's over 20,000 people that are gone. So anytime you have fear or doubt, I don't know, stop thinking about things. I tell my clients all the time, be a dam, not a toy. Toy stands for, I gotta think it over, yeah. Guess what happens? You have more thoughts, and more thoughts, and more thoughts, and more thoughts, and more thoughts. But a dam is, be a decisive action machine. The very word decisive, the word side means to kill, to cut. So if you're like, oh, I'm just thinking about writing a book, I'm thinking, fuck thinking. I see so many people in life, they're like, I gotta think about it. They're a toy. You're literally being disposable either by someone else that's toying with you, or you're damn, or you're a decisive action machine. Every single successful person I've seen in life is decisive. Literally, the word side means to kill. So kill your old life, because literally today is December 17th. You have 14 days left. If you want to have a miracle year next year, you have to first believe, own, and embody the fact that you are not just believing in miracles, you are a miracle. And if you don't believe that, how can you actually live your dreams? But ultimately, when I went on the plane on May 6th, when I was 26 years old, I flew from New York City to California, first to San Francisco, and then to LA. When I finally got there, this is the thing about people that pursue their dreams. If you want to pursue your dreams, and you find people that have lived their dreams, they'll support you. But then you'll meet people that don't live their dreams, are envious and jealous. Don't talk to them, including your family members. And if you are in a relationship that they don't pursue your dreams, fucking leave them. I'm not saying it's easy, by the way, right? But I've seen so much hardship, so much pain, that they're physically living, but they're already dead inside. But I want you to remember this one story. Again, when I was 26, I had all these dreams, my miracle year. I left my job, I left my family behind, I came out to California, but when I was sitting on the BART train going to a part-time interview, I sat there, I'm like, holy crap. All these fears I had, all these doubts I had, when I was actually there on the West Coast, I was living and beginning to live my dreams. It's just all in my head. All these fears we have, they're all in our head. So stop being a toy, thinking it over, and be a decisive action machine, because you have one life. The single biggest regret we have, according to Bryony Ware, who's a former palliative care specialist, she literally wrote a book called The 5 Biggest Regrets We Have in Life. Because she used to help people before they passed, whether it's 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. The single biggest regret that the person had before they died was they wish they had the courage to pursue their life, not the expectations of people around them. So I talked about wildest dreams, think about what you want to do. I talked about miracles, because you are, and you build courage by doing things you're afraid of, which could be as simple as you're in an elevator. It's kind of awkward. Someone walks in, say hi. Or you're hungry and you want to go eat alone at lunchtime. Everything is based on you doing the action, not sitting on your couch watching Netflix and thinking, I want to be more courageous. Your wings of courage appear when you leap off the cliff of uncertainty. Your wings of courage appear when you leap off the cliff of uncertainty. You will never, never, never live your wildest dreams or even have a miracle life if you don't start being courageous. Can you all stand up for a second? The first and most important thing to live your miracle life and to live your miracle year is to actually believe it. And when you leave tonight and when you put your head on the pillow, I want you to start thinking about, what is my miracle year next year? What is my wildest dreams? If you can't even ask yourself by yourself in your bed before you close your eyes or have your eyes closed, what is my miracle year? How can you ever do that? We're in a business conference. I want you to start making money for your story, but I want you to say that next year is my miracle year. If you can't even say that with conviction, with confidence, with clarity, are you going to really live it? Because all of us is just energy. So at the count of 3, all I want you to hear is say. Now mind you, before you say one word, your physicality has presence. So if you roll your shoulders back, tuck your abs in, you're about shoulder length apart, but you should feel more confident and powerful by just standing up like this. But all I want you to hear you say, we have 14 days left. I want next year to be your miracle year. All I want to hear you say is, next year is my miracle year. At the count of 3, okay? You ready? 1, 2, 3.
Next year is my miracle year.
Let's do a little competition here. Ladies, you ready? At the count of 3, let's see the ladies say it. And then I'm going to see the men. Let's see who says it louder. Okay, for ladies first, all right? Count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Next year is my miracle year.
Woo! That's pretty good. Guys, Us manly men, us alpha men. You ready? At the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Next year, I wish I had another red envelope. Okay. We're going to do it one last time. We're going to look at that camera over there where Kirk is. And I want you to say with conviction at the count of 3, next year is my miracle year. At the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Next year is my miracle year. Awesome. Everyone sit back down, please. You can clap, you can clap. So again, our official programming is over, but we have a lot of time to network, to connect, because I really hope you know that even though we're on stage here, you can all share stories. And I really believe every single one of your stories is a gift. And if you have the mentality where everywhere you go, you're either giving gifts or you're receiving gifts, you'll never feel alone, you'll never feel lonely, you'll never feel doubt if you know that you have a tribe to be there to support you. And that's what I hope GifterXTalks is. This is our 14th GifterXTalks. And I've been doing this for 3 years, but I've taken it for 20 years. I hope you come back. If you want to come next month, you can. It's in January. But last few things. I really encourage you to meet all our speakers and panelists. Let's give, again, Ashley, Pierre, Marla, and Amelia some love. We're going to take one picture where all of you are going to come up here. We have our camera person. Let's give Johanna some love over there. And we got Paul as well as the photographers. You're all going to come up here. And then if you could, if you really felt moved by any of our speakers, please go see Paula, because I want her to capture some of your testimonials if you feel that they moved you, because it's so important to know that you've helped people. And literally last time, when one of our speakers, she was homeless at 17, and now she sells a $17 million property. And Julie, one of your friends, was so inspired by Jamie, but Jamie already left. So I literally recorded a video from Julie and sent it to Jamie. What I'm saying is, if you feel that you were moved by any of our speakers, please share that on camera, only because it helps them remember that perhaps they have made an impact. Does it make sense? Okay, so can we do a little picture? After that, do some testimonies for our clients. After that, just please mingle, please meet new friends, clients, lovers, whatever you want, okay? But if you could, please come up on stage, surround me and the speakers. If the speakers can actually sit here in the front and everyone surround us, we'll take one group picture. So thank you so much for coming. Just move the chairs over here and we'll just all sit in the middle. It's just for the speakers. Thank you so much. Just crowd around the speakers. The speakers can sit in the front row, and everyone else, if you can all stand around us. We really, 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 really appreciate you coming here. So Ashley, Pierre, Marla, and Amelia, please sit in the front row, and everyone else surround us and look sexy, because you all are. And I really hope that next year, 2026, is your miracle year. But before you go to bed tonight, please think about what is your wild life. And I hope you all live that in spades. So Pierre, sit here. And Christian, can you actually, Steven, can you help like move some of these chairs back? Alon, can you help move some of these chairs back? Okay, do we have everyone? Okay, you can remove. We'll just remove this chair. Just move these out. Let's move these all out, please. Okay. So again, we're gonna do 3 pictures, okay? The first picture, we're just gonna look regular. Next picture, we'll look at the camera. And the last picture, you're just gonna have your Superman or Superwoman pose, okay? I'll just repeat that when we're ready, right? So, are we all in the picture, Johanna?
Yeah, but I don't see the people.
Okay. So the front row has to maybe kneel, perhaps.
Very used to being in the front row.
Okay. Can you see everyone now?
Yes.
Okay. And Paula, if you can shoot some video as well, right? Okay. Do we have everyone? And I don't want any of the chairs. Okay. Let's give Bill the Lawman some love. And you just move all these chairs back here. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's look, smile at the camera.
Only one. This one.
Okay, let's move that chair.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bill.
Okay.
Smile at the camera.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, smile. Nice.
Okay, second one, point to the camera.
Yeah.
And lastly, just do a funny pose, Superman, superhero pose, whatever you want. Just look cool. Awesome. And one last thing for the video. Did you like GifterXTalks? Yeah! At the count of 3, I just want you to say, come to GifterXTalks. Is that cool? Yeah. So look at the camera. Paul, are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Come to GifterXTalks. Thank you so much for coming. Please hang out, meet new friends, new business partners, new lovers. Thank you so much.